Hello, and thanks for joining us for today's webinar titled, See How Healthcare IT Recovers in Minutes. I'm Kevin Collins from Unitrends, and I'm here with Dick Sapler and Jordan Wasserhoff, and they'll be taking us through the presentation. And don't forget, one lucky attendee will be walking away with a $100 Amazon gift card. We'll contact the winner via email after the webinar. But before we get started, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items. The session will be recorded, and after the event, you'll receive an email with a link to the on-demand version of the webinar. I would also encourage you to ask questions throughout the presentation. You can do so by typing them into the Q&A box in the bottom right of the player. We'll answer your questions at the end of the session. At this point, I'll turn it over to Dick. Enjoy the presentation, and Dick, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate everybody joining us today. Hope not to take too much of your time and make this valuable for you. As Kevin said, my name is Dick Sapler. I'm the Product Marketing Manager for Unitrends. And I'm joined today on the webcast with Jordan Wasserhoff, a sales engineer, and he'll do the demos as part of his contribution to this webcast. So part of my job as the Product Marketing Manager is that I manage our Customer Success Program. And as part of that program, I literally talk to a dozen customers a week. And at least a couple of them are in the healthcare industry. So I'm fairly familiar with the unique challenges that the healthcare industry is met with in backing up and protecting their data. So really the goal of this webcast is to give you, the healthcare IT professional, information on best practices and what we find with successful healthcare companies. But first, a couple of statements around, what are those unique challenges that you face every day? And really, healthcare is a very unique industry. And as such, you have unique data backup and business continuity issues. So what would these be? So first, let me talk you through why we are in a position to talk to you today about best practices. Unitrends literally has over 1,000 healthcare customers. And by healthcare customers, I mean hospitals, physicians groups, labs, clinics, and even suppliers who, because of HIPAA, are required to comply with the stringent backup and data continuity standards as required by the federal government. So we have many customer success stories on our web, unitrends.com, and all the quotes that you see in these slides actually come from those success stories. So there are 5 unique challenges for healthcare IT professionals when it comes to backup and recovery. The first is you have mandated uptime requirements. Electronic health records, are needed at any and all times. If there's a loss due to a server failure, a virus, or an accidental data deletion, recovery times need to be measured in seconds or minutes at the longest. And then measuring and documenting those recovery times are part of the specifications, are part of the HIPAA, which is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, and the controls that it mandates. The second unique challenge is that you're extremely highly regulated. HIPAA, the U.S. law designed to protect privacy standards and to protect patients' medical records, and this exists for doctors, hospitals, and all other healthcare providers. Prior to HIPAA, there was no generally accepted set of security standards, but there is now. And the high-tech omnibus rule extends the HIPAA requirements to healthcare business associates, such as labs, physicians groups, and even suppliers. So it's a pretty broad-reaching set of controls. Also, healthcare providers must maintain total control of their data at all times. HIPAA security rule requires the technical safeguards that the technology and the policy and procedures for its use that protected electronic health information access and control to it must be managed by the healthcare provider. So really, healthcare IT must know where the physical data is located at all times during the life cycle, as well as control who has access to it. And a covered entity must determine which security measures and specific technologies are reasonable and appropriate for implementation in its organization. Unitrends meets these specifications literally for the thousands of our customers, healthcare customers that do business with us today. Finally, the details that we'll go into more deeply in this call, the #1 IT challenge of recovering lost files and two, the fact that healthcare industries are highly targeted by ransomware. These are the last two topics that we will cover in today's webcast. So let's go more deeply into the need to recover lost and deleted files. Healthcare, and this is probably not news to anybody on this call, you support a very high number of users per IT head. I'm talking about doctors and nurses and admin staff, bookkeepers, billing agents, and so forth. And most of these people, quite frankly, are fairly unsophisticated users. You may have some highly sophisticated users, and they tend to do stupid things. So all of them tend to regularly delete or lose emails, files, even complete folders all the time. And then finding them and recovering them really is the #1 task in backup and continuity that IT professionals are asked for all the time. So how does Unitrends approach this problem? Well, we have a single user interface that goes across all of our products. And it's a very simple user interface so that literally untrained IT staff can use it. So it requires little cross-training to perform this task. So you should be able to log in and restore a deleted file in less than 5 minutes. And that's from login to full user access. Now, needless to say, you can't do this with tape, but with our disk-based backup systems, 5 minutes should be the maximum amount of time required. So to show you how easy this is to do, I'm going to turn the screen over here to Jordan, and Jordan is going to take you through the process of restoring a lost file. Jordan?
Thank you so much. And so here, hopefully you can see my screen. But basically what you've got is this here's the dashboard. The nice thing with Unitrends is you can have multiple of these appliances set up, and you can actually manage all of them from this single interface. So from here, what I can do is, in this case, let's say you want to recover a file. What I can do is I come here to the Recover tab, and I can find one of my backups that I want to recover. Let's say I want to recover a file on my file server. Come right here, select this, select Recover Files, and what this is going to do is I can go in and I can find, a specific file or folder that I want to recover, drag it over here to the recovery side. Say I want to do these two. And then from here, I set up where I want to recover it to, like the recovery target. If there's a specific directory I want to recover to, I can load that up and find exactly where I want to go. Let's say this D drive. Any other information I want to do, hit save, and it's going to start doing the recovery that quickly. Alternatively, let's say I'm not sure exactly where the file is or which backup, I can go by asset that I'm protecting and search for a specific file, even let's say a specific PDF. And over here it's going to look through all the backups that are sitting, and I can check off which ones I want to recover, and the exact same option, I can choose where I want to recover it, and hit save, and it runs that exact recovery. And this works both with file-level backups as well as snapshots. If you're taking a snapshot of a virtual machine and you want to recover a single file from that, you can do that right here from within this interface too. So you can see there's a lot of recovery options and really easy to be able to provide. So you can kind of just go for it and recover it, and hopefully it'll be a thing of the past, having to have managed all those file-level recoveries and taking forever. Another nice thing that you can do is you can actually assign access control to certain users, and you can allow them to come in and just recover specific assets so they can recover the files only from the server or servers that they may need. So this is a great additional way to take the load off of your plate and enable someone else to be able to do their own recoveries. All that's available right here within the interface and can be easily managed and controlled right within the configure. I can go to the appliance, I can choose to edit, and here from within a specific user, I can select their credentials and allow them to, manage, administer, and then even do specific restrictions, such as I only want them to be able to recover, and I can choose what specific servers I want them to recover, and I can choose, what options I want to allow them. So allow, for example, only the file recovery or information like that. Hopefully that kind of helps helps you, can hopefully make your life a little bit easier in maintaining and managing your recovery and all the requirements you may have in what you try to do in your day-to-day. We're all about making it easier here at Unitrends, and hopefully this is just one example of how much quicker it's going to be to recover those files. Dick, I'll turn it back over to you to kind of go over any other stuff that's threatening us. I think you might be muted.
Thank you, Jordan. I was muted. I was on a soliloquy. But yes, thank you. Threat is the right word. And so the other feature about hospitals and healthcare is that they are now highly targeted by ransomware. And so you know from the WannaCry virus that hit last month that the UK healthcare system was targeted, and about 10% of the hospitals had to shut down. And that's just because the ransomware pirates know how critical data is to the performance of healthcare institutions. Now, virus scanners, which some people talk about as being a level of defense, are only good if the ransomware has been seen by the security company before they've actually been able to code a solution and get it distributed out to the users. Virus scanners do nothing for new viruses, and literally new variants are showing up every single day. You can also try to train your users, all of those admins and nurses and billing agents and so forth, but it really only takes one bad click from a single user to infect you with the virus. So really, you will be infected. It's just a matter of time. The ransomware is good and getting better. There's even a concept now called ransomware as a service. If you go to YouTube and put in ransomware, you can actually see pirates demonstrating their software that they will OEM to you if you want to be in the ransomware business. I mean, it's literally gotten to that point. So really the only defense is a good backup and the ability to roll back to the point before an infection occurs. So here's what Unitrends has to offer, and we have a 5-step playbook for defeating ransomware that's available on our website. First, we have some unique ransomware recovery capabilities, including automated testing. With our recovery assurance software, we can actually test backups to ensure that they're not infected. So the recovery assurance literally will line up the applications, the data, the files, the settings, and go almost all the way to the point of actually launching an application to ensure that it can recover when it's needed. Secondly, our Unitrends appliances are delivered in hardened Linux and not the Windows. Windows is a highly targeted platform because a vast majority of the servers out there are Windows-based. So if you have a Windows-based backup and recovery system, you're actually another target for ransomware. Thirdly, all Unitrends appliances will automatically detect ransomware-induced file changes. So, ransomware, what it does is it infects a file, and with our predictive analytics software that's included in all of our appliances, we can actually identify the footprint and look for high levels of change between the same file between backups, and then we'll alert the administrator that these targets that these files are being encrypted. And also we can tell you the exact time of your last backup. You need to know that because that's the point at which you will recover. And so we can show you that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the screen back over to Jordan, and he's going to demonstrate how quickly we can actually recover from a ransomware attack. Jordan?
Awesome. Thank you, Dick. So here, I'm going back to our environment. Hopefully you still see the screen. Going back to the Recover tab, so I've been running successful backups of my virtual machines. I'm going to go ahead and load up the backups that I have, and I'm going to be able to recover one of them. And in fact, what I'm actually doing is I'm actually replicating these backups to a secondary location over here. And I can actually do my recovery here at the secondary site after they've been replicated. So let's say, for example, I want to bring this SQL Server back up and online. It was infected with ransomware on the 21st, so I want to recover from before. So here I have all these different backups that I can recover from. So I'm going to recover this one, and I'm going to do an instant recovery. What this is going to do is going to utilize the Unitrend storage and going to spin it up utilizing the host I select here. This means I can recover from before the infection, and it means I know that I'm going to be functional. Why? I have the option to test it manually by using an audit mode, or I can use the automated process to be able to do that. So here, for example, I'm going to run through fake recovery. So I'm going to go right here and send this off and get it ready to recover. So I'm going to start this recovery. And we're going to look over here. What's going to happen is it's first going to start the, it's going to create a new virtual machine. It's going to attach the data store. I want to make sure I get it the right way. Here you go. So here we're going to attach the data store. And then once that's done, we're going to spin up and create a new VM from the snapshot, the VMDK we already have. And then we're going to spin it up. And then we're going to be in the storage vMotion process to the storage that I selected back in the wizard. So here it started at 11:16 and some change. Give this a sec to see. Takes. Oh, it already has. So here now we're creating the virtual machine. 30 seconds later. It looks like I actually already have one running. That filled that. Let me find it. Yep, you can see it right here. I'm going to go ahead and delete that real quick. Try that one more time. All right, once more. That failed, but I can see. Okay, good. Just one more try. So I'm going to go here. Again, the instant recovery. Select which host, resource pool if I want to. Let's go ahead and do it in recovery assurance. And then set up a target storage here. Save. Run this one more time. Oh. It's already running. I haven't been able to cancel it yet. There we go. Basically, once it's up and running, let's do a different one instead. Let's do this SQL server. We were doing the SQL one. Let's do this Oracle server. Instant recover. So we'll let this one run. If we allow it to. So we remove those virtual disks, we'll give this a chance. So it's going to create the data store. While this is starting to run, we can see it kicked off at 11:19 on the dot. Once you create the NAS storage and start moving stuff over, I want to kind of show you while that's running, the other option Unitrends has. So instead of having to manually test and verify that you can recover, Unitrends has automated recovery assurance, which I think, and I bet you agree with me, Dick, that this would be vital for most of our healthcare customers. What this can do is our automated recovery testing can go in and it can actually test and verify your capabilities that you can recover. What it's going to do is on whatever period you set, so here we have it, it looks like about 5 times a week at 5:30 a.m., we try to see to make sure we can recover specific VMs and test at the application level that these VMs can function. So I'm going to show you the details of this one. So for this specific job, for example, we selected a few VMs to be able to run. So there's one specific VM. We can test specific profiles to say we need it spun up in a certain amount of time, and we need to provide a specific RPO, so the data can't be more than a day old and needs to be recoverable needs to spin up in less than 4 hours. And I can set up how often I want it to run. So it looks like every day except for Saturday. And then I can set up specific tests within it. So here it's just testing out the boot up, and I can do boot order. But if I want to, I can edit, and I can set up a specific application test that I want to run to verify that this can function and work. So I'd set it up here, give it a priority, hit add, and then I would be able to add that new test to the spin up of this machine. So then I would then generate this report that tells me exactly how long each of my jobs takes to spin up how old the data is, and what the recoverability is of each of them. So it gives me a lot of information right at my fingertips for being able to restore, how long it's going to take, and what I can do with that data. So it's a lot of that piece. Let's go ahead and check in on our VM. So it looks like it's powered on. It created a data store, spun up in 30 seconds, and was available. So basically it was created and powered on at 11:19:46, and we sent the initial request at 11:19. So less than a minute later, I'm going to be able to go right in, and I bet you this VM is running. And I'll be able to log in, and here you can see it's already starting to log in, and I'll be able to utilize this while it's migrating over to the production storage. So you can see a lot of capabilities that Unitrends really can provide. And all this is done under our easy, simple, all-in-one interface. We're going to be able to manage what we're backing up. We're going to be able to manage what we can recover. We're going to be able to utilize and restore, really make you be able to spend more of that time working on the operational aspect and the production and making sure that your healthcare customers or clients are still running. And being able to kind of provide and utilize all this is vital for ensuring that we're going to be able to, restore and utilize, your resources most effectively. So hopefully this showed you how not only am I going to be able to recover from ransomware, not only be able to test to ensure I can recover, but on top of that, Unitrends also provides a proactive monitoring of your environment, and it'll actually tell you if it detects an abnormal change rate that's in accordance with outside of our threshold. We use machine learning to detect, and we can actually proactively detect if we believe you've been infected. So this text here tells us we've seen a large change rate in the last 24 hours that is outside your even remotely normal production, and that this could be an indication of a malware-related activity to verify and test it. So this is a report, an alert that's emailed out to you that you can then follow up and verify to make sure that either the asset isn't infected and you're good to go and you can just clear this alert, or if it is infected, that you can go back, delete the backups, and recover from the earlier point. So there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of power we try to bring back to you as an end user to ensure that you can control, recover, and restore whatever you may need. So I'm going to send this back over to Dick. Hopefully we finish up some other stuff that Unitrends can provide, and hopefully this was another great example of how Unitrends can make your days and lives a little bit easier, not having to worry as much about ransomware and knowing that you can recover quicker. Dick, send it back to you.
Thanks, Jordan. Okay. So I just wanted to take a minute or so in the end here to just summarize for you about some backup metrics that you should have. These are kind of best cases for our healthcare customers. It should not take you more than 5 minutes to recover a lost file, and that's from login to full access by the user. Your backup software and capabilities should have proactive, predictive ransomware detection. Many of the ransomware attacks, what they do now is they lurk in your systems for days and even weeks. It gives them more time to affect more files and therefore extort more money from you. And if you discover them sooner, then you can get rid of them faster. You should be able to recover from a ransomware attack in less than 20 minutes. As shown by Jordan. And finally, summing this all up, with our set it and forget it backup scheduling and how easy it is to use the interface, you should be spending less than 1 hour per week managing your backup environment. Now, why is this possible? Really, the answer is that we have an all-in-one solution. So if you were to go out and build a backup solution by yourself, you'd probably have 8 or 9 different vendors who would have to contribute to that. And even many of our competitors are actually 2 or 3 vendors that have cobbled together a solution. With Unitrends, it's all in the box. And you can connect our Unitrends appliances to either Unitrends Cloud, or you can use AWS, Amazon, or Azure if you would prefer. So literally, an all-in-one solution is what enables a lot of the simplicity. So just, what do healthcare professionals want in backup and continuity? They don't want any finger pointing. One single vendor, one throat to choke. Less management, more flexibility, higher uptimes, more confidence that your applications exactly will recover, and therefore freeing you up to do the other IT tasks that you would prefer, and quite frankly, your organizations would prefer you to do. So we are the #1 all-in-one enterprise backup and continuity provider in the industry. Like I said, one vendor, one throat to choke, rack, connect, and go. It literally is that easy with service helping you as you go through it. Local and cloud continuity with our recovery assurance. More security, purpose-built hardened Linux appliances, and higher customer satisfaction. Our customers, we have a 98% customer satisfaction rating. So in summary, your requirements are unique. We have over 1,000 customers who are healthcare customers where we're meeting those requirements today, and we are able to meet your healthcare IT needs. So this is the final slide. At this point, I will turn this back to Kevin. Kevin has been collecting your questions, and we'll let him MC us through the final aspects of this webinar. Kevin?
Thanks, Dick. Great presentation, guys. Just a reminder, there's still time to ask a question. You can do so by typing it into the bottom right-hand of the player, and we'll get started. First question is, we have data compliance requirements. Where are your data centers located, and can we choose where our data sits?
That's a great question. So we do have multiple data centers throughout the world, really. Basically, we have several in the North America, in USA, and your data will never cross any borders. So we have several in USA, Canada, the UK, Germany, and Australia. As for selecting a data center, all data tends to go to, you don't quite have the selection in which data center of ours you're going to go to if you want to utilize our cloud capabilities, but we keep it in a geographically redundant setup so that you're not going to be exposed in case something happens to one of our data centers.
Okay. Next question, how does Unitrends verify that my backups are working so that I can recover when I need to?
So I'll take that one again, too. So that's very similar to the recovery assurance tool I was kind of showing you off. That can automate the process of testing that and recovering those, and that way you know that not only your backup's good, not only do you get the data, but that your applications can work. So you know that you can go down to a granular level, being able to recover and get that exact report on how long the recovery will take.
Okay, here's a couple of questions on ransomware. First one is, how do you actually detect ransomware, and how easy is it to roll back to the last backup before the infection?
So you can utilize the warning and kind of figure out what you need to recover, but I mean, you can audit the backup, see which one you need to recover to, and that's the one you can utilize to recover and fail back to. So it's pretty easy to select, and I was just showing you, a small sampling of the different instances that you can recover to, but you can always utilize more and recover to the ones that you want to in those scenarios. So it's kind of it might be a little bit of guess and check, and you can do it in audit mode so that way it won't infect or ruin the rest of your environment.
Okay. The next one is, do you have any customers who have actually recovered from a ransomware attack using our solution?
Yeah, we've had lots, actually. Yeah, Dick, you probably have better answers about that than I do.
Yeah, there's many customer success stories that we have on the web for even particular healthcare companies that have recovered. One of my is Broadway Carpet, not a healthcare company, but he managed the recovery using his phone when he was on a fishing trip. So, I mean, it's literally that flexible that you can do that.
Okay. The next question is, I've heard about the 3-2-1 rule of backups. Can you go into detail on what that means?
Sure. That's the idea to kind of, especially with ransomware rearing its ugly head, It's the idea of maintaining at least 3 copies of your data, one in production, one in a backup, and one in a secondary format off-site. So that's 3 copies of your data, 2 different formats, one of which goes off-site. Being able to do that enables you to be able to recover no matter what may come your way, but that really is just part of the puzzle. You might want to get long-term and kind of archive your backups to keep older backups somewhere. That is not necessarily part of the equation. So the 3-2-1 rule is basically the idea that you want at least 3 copies of your backup, one of which going off-site in 2 different formats, so that no matter what should happen, you're able to recover from either disaster or infection or all sorts of other things. But again, I think something corollary to the rule is no backup, a backup that has not been tested, you may as well have not bothered backing up, as was very evident with WannaCry or the GitLab. All these people have these backups, but it turns out they haven't tested them and they're not actually recoverable, and that's probably worse than not even bothering to have backed up, because then you have all this effort, time, and money in something that doesn't even work because you haven't bothered to verify it. Okay, the next question is, how does Unitrends license their software and appliances? Sure. So the physical appliances are licensed purely based on how you just purchase the appliance and you have full capabilities for what you want to be able to function with them. In terms of what you're looking to do with getting the software, that's based on the virtual hosts and the physical servers you want to back up. We license it on that, and then there are some features. So, for example, if you want recovery assurance, that's a part of our Enterprise Plus capabilities, and you can kind of designate that both within our physical appliance or with our virtual appliance. And the virtual appliances can be deployed on VMware, Hyper-V, Azure, AWS, and then they can use all the backups that we've kind of talked about, such as doing Windows, file level, Linux, iSeries, AIX, Ubuntu, Debian, VMware, Zen Server. The list goes on of all the stuff that we can back up, deploy, and protect. Okay, and then the last question, and we'll wrap it up, is Office 365 protection part of the license, or is that an add-on? So Office 365 is an additional capability. We do a cloud-to-cloud backup, so it doesn't use any of your on-site resources to be able to back up. It's simply a matter of a license per user, and then from there, you can take those backups. You can recover individual emails within seconds and find the stuff you need, recover calendars, contacts, SharePoint, OneDrive. All that's available and managed from an easy-to-use singular interface that requires no real investment or management on your part. All right. Thanks, guys. As a reminder, this webinar was recorded, and you'll receive an email with a link to the on-demand version after the webinar. We'll also announce the $100 gift card winner in that email as well. Thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to having you on future webinars. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.